One of the most common requests I receive goes something like this: Mohit, our people know their subject. They just need help with presentation delivery. And usually, what follows is a very familiar list. Can you help them become more confident? Can you improve their executive presence? Work on their body language. Just help them engage the audience better. And every time I hear this, I understand exactly what they're asking. Because when presentations go south, this is exactly what the audience notices. But over the years, I've realized we are trying to solve the wrong problem. Let me explain. Some of the weakest presenters I've worked with were amongst the strongest thinkers in the room. In conversation, they were brilliant. They understood what they did, anticipated difficult questions, they could explain incredibly complex ideas. Yet, put these very same people in front of 20 colleagues, give them a PowerPoint deck, and something changes. The clarity disappears. The opposite is also true. Some of the best presenters I've ever met weren't especially charismatic. No booming voice, no dramatic gestures, no TED Talk energy. Yet, everyone left the room having understood exactly what had to be done. I believe that presentations succeed or fail long before the presenter has uttered the first sentence. They decide what matters, what doesn't, what evidence belongs, what doesn't, how ideas connect, what do the audience actually need. Long before they work on their delivery, they have already made dozens of thinking decisions. And that's where I think communication begins. So, why do we continue to treat communication as a delivery problem? Because delivery is visible, thinking isn't. The symptom has become the disease. Interestingly, this isn't something I've observed. Researchers from very different fields seem to be pointing towards the same conclusion. John Sweller's work reminds us that working memory is limited. Richard Meyer shows that clarity often comes from removing information, not adding to it. Barbara Minto built an entire framework around organizing ideas before communicating them. Different disciplines, different questions, remarkably similar conclusions. Good thinking always precedes clear communication. I'm not arguing that delivery doesn't matter. It absolutely does. Executive presence matters. Body language matters. But that's not where communication begins. Communication begins much earlier, with the decisions we make before we open PowerPoint, before we rehearse, before we enter the room. Perhaps we've spent years trying to improve communication from the wrong end. If this idea resonates with you, I've written a much deeper investigation on Medium where I unpack the observations, the research, and the implications in greater detail. You'll find a link in the description.